What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I, of course, am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a fantastic Friday night, a little after 7:30. We're going to get into it, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for some bird talk. And, this season has been very rough. I think we all knew there would be bumpy roads, but we've talked about it. Off-roading in a Prius right now are the Philadelphia Eagles. So, little bit rough, but hey, we still got nothing but love for our birds. We're pulling for a W. We know that if we don't beat the Lions, sure, looks good for our draft position, but oh dear God, it will never end. The tears of tyranny and injustice. But look, let's be real here. I see a lot of promise in a lot of these young guys, but there's still a lot of issues. We got to pinpoint what those issues are and get them corrected. So let's get into it. Yo, my man Christian in the building tonight. What's going on, dude? Hopefully you're having yourself a great start to your weekend. Let me know how you're feeling about this matchup, dude. We're moving on. We're getting ready. It's the weekend, dude. It's Lions time. We know we got our ass kicked by the Raiders. It's been rough, but we got to get this W. So hope you're having a good one, dude. We're going to be comparing both these rosters. Let me know your thoughts on this. And my man Tim in the building. What's going on, dude? Hopefully you're having yourself a great Friday evening. And everybody else out there, hope you're all having a great day. If you have any questions, any comments you want to throw my way, please feel free to do so. But we're going to jump right into this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Let's talk about the injury report first and foremost, because we need to know what's going on with these guys before we get into the actual comparison. So, both dealing with a little bit of injuries here. We'll get to the guys that are on the IR for them. They have a plenty. But on their actual injury report for this week, they have a few guys that are questionable and some big names here for them, obviously, at the bottom. But Trey Flowers, that would be a huge loss for them. One of their edge rushers dealing with the knee issue. These guys were all limited, and they are all questionable. Two of their young corners, Jerry Jacobs got the pleasure to actually interview him this offseason. So hopefully these guys are all right. We want to beat them at their best, but we know where they're at their best is the running back position. DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams are on the questionable tag on their injury list every damn week. I think that's just how it's always going to be for them. But I think we're probably going to have to take both those guys on. But regardless, still dealing with some nagging injuries. So we are going to talk about those running backs, and we know that they are the real deal, and we can't stop running backs. So we're going to see how this game goes, but going to be very intriguing there. All I have to said, WTF with the coach. Yeah, the coaching has been probably the biggest question for me. We've talked about that. I think Nick Sirianni's been questionable. Jonathan Gannon at times questionable. So these guys, I know that they're young coaches, but at this point, this is kind of ridiculous, right? So we got to figure some things out. I don't know if this team, what they're going to do here, but they need to figure it out. I know we're dealing with some injuries, but that's no excuse. So speaking of injuries, let's get into the Eagles' injuries here. We actually have Anthony Harris doubtful. Let's be real here. I really don't like him being out because when Rodney McLeod was out, Marcus Epps was in there. And, he's decent, but nothing special. Harris and McLeod together is a nice combination, but he is doubtful for this game. He was limited today for some reason, but did not practice for McPherson. He is out, but he never sees snaps anyway, so not a big deal. Miles Sanders, we know, will be week to week. So unfortunate news there. But with that news of Miles Sanders, that actually means what we've talked about. Nick Sirianni said today, probably elevate Jordan Howard from the practice squad. So you'll see that move made on Sunday. You don't need to have him taking up a roster spot. He is on the practice squad. So we will probably see him part of the running back corps. So we do have with Kenny Gainwell, Boston Scott. So sprinkle him in. Hopefully we can get this ball moving. But ladies and gentlemen, I'll be real. I know that the Lions suck, but so do we right now. So kind of sucks. See us winning. Hey, and we're not going to activate him. We need to elevate him. He is on the practice squad right now. So he's not on any kind of injury list or anything like that, or IR. He is just on the practice squad. So you could do that with 2 players each week. We talk about that. You can have essentially 55 guys on your roster, 48 dressed. But he will be part of that. And yeah, I'm excited about that. and we need to run the ball. Run the ball. It's time to run the ball. Run the ball. Also see us winning, but I can see the fan base calling for heads. Yeah, and that's the thing. If we lose, that Lions pick, they go back and the Dolphins pick goes up. Our pick goes up. We get closer to being the better pick because we only have 2 wins. They have 0. But, I'll be real with you. I would like to see a win. I know that it would benefit our draft area, but I'm just hoping that Dolphins pick is the top one. We do whatever with ours, and the Colts just keep hoping they lose. But, I really feel that this is going to be obviously a pivotal draft, but there's a lot of talent that I like here. And I think that, this win is to help you build confidence in some of these young guys. That's why you need to get this W. We talked about this season. We're going to get a few wins and we're going to need them at the right times because it's probably going to be some rough times. And we've been going through those rough times. So we need a W right now. And I think against a team like the Lions, right before you go against the Chargers, which is going to be a very tough matchup for us, we need to get this W. So I'm also very hopeful, and I think we can pull off this W. So with you guys, and I'm hoping we get this win. Now, we know where we're at, sitting near the bottom, 2-5, all tied up with the Washington football team and the New York Giants, all with the same record there. Terrible, terrible, terrible. We know the Cowboys dealing with Dak Prescott being injured, so we'll see how that plays out. But other than that, they, looking good for the top of the division here. We just got to keep, building confidence in this team and seeing what we have, for the future of this team, because obviously right now, this is kind of a wash of a season. You got to find out what you have. And I know these guys are going to continue fighting, and I'm going to be there fighting with them. I'm just saying that, we went into this understanding that, going to be some bumpy roads. Now, there have been a few bumpy roads for the Lions as well, as they sit at the bottom of the NFC North. You see the Packers at the top there. Actually, you need to change that now. They just won again last night. But you see, look, they're at the bottom, 0-7. They know. And look, Dan Campbell is a head coach that's also new to his job. So we talk about Sirianni, but it's like, look, I think that this team is also hungry, and they almost beat the Rams. So don't sleep on anybody. But these guys are, going to be hungry, and we're going to their house to find out. But you talk about Dan Campbell, you brought Anthony Lynn. It gave Aaron Glenn the job of defensive coordinator. We'll see, how that goes down there. But been trying to run that 3-4, and they've had some issues. Once again, they don't really have the talent, kind of some of the issues we run into. Then you guys remember old Dave Phipp there, special teams coordinator. They've got Deuce over there. They've got Antoine Randall, a bunch of old players and stuff. So Dan Campbell, we all remember he used to play, so tight end, and he's wild, talking about biting off kneecaps, all that great stuff. So the complete opposite of, flowers blooming, all this great stuff. And you guys know, I like Nick Sirianni, and I think that he's definitely had his issues. And I really started to get concerned when he wasn't running the ball. So I don't know where his head's at, what he's thinking, but he's my biggest issue where I'm concerned the most. But still hopeful that, it's only 7 games and that he can figure something out. But if not, I don't know. But I know the coaches are behind, or the players are behind him, and they, love his confidence. And, a lot of people ragging on him for all the stuff he says. But look, I really still have hope that he will pan out. And obviously it's for the Eagles' sake, our sake, we want him to. But we've got the rest of the season to figure that out. And yeah, I'm pissed right now, but I'm going to, try to have some hope here and hope that and here's the thing. If you don't come out against the Lions and show something, then I'm going to be very, very concerned. So we'll see. Do you think we would have been better off with Deuce? I have no idea. And that's what's so wild to me when I see people say stuff like that. It's like, but Deuce Staley's never been a head coach. He's never called plays here. I have no idea what he would have been. I was all for giving him the reins as offensive coordinator, seeing how, he would do there. Obviously, Doug Peterson wouldn't do that. So, okay. And then he wanted to bring Micro. No. So, I don't know, man. I really don't. But the Lions aren't doing too great right now. So, I can't really say that, he's helped do anything with Dan Campbell there. So, I don't know. He's the assistant head coach over there. I know that he has hope, and I hope that one day he gets his shot, and I hope he does well. But I cannot answer that question and say that. I think he would probably be struggling with a young team. But he would probably be running the ball. So we would have probably benefited. But what did we talk about earlier this season? We got Kenny Gainwell. And, a lot of people, we got to use Miles. And it's like, is Miles durable? Is he going to last an entire season? And he's already banged up, going to end up on IR here. So, damn, that sucks. But let's keep it moving. Let's get into this. Let's talk about this. Let's go through the roster comparison and the matchup advantages here between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions. Herschel, I know you're pumped about this. We're getting into it. See, he's trying to rush me too. So we know that the Detroit Lions 0-7, but we are 2-5. So not much better here. But let's compare what we're looking like so far in these rankings here. You see that they're 22nd in rushing, 17th in passing, 27th in total yardage, 28th in points. That's pretty bad. Not good. Not good at all. But they do use their running backs running the ball and in the passing attack. So that's kind of sprinkled in. That's their weapons. And they also have TJ Hawkinson. So I think that honestly, they could get things going because we can't stop the damn run. So we'll see how they use their running backs, but it could definitely be a problem for us. Now, they are giving up 2.4 sacks per game and throwing 0.9 interceptions per game. So they're tied for 20th in all those categories there. And then 22nd, they're tied turnovers 1.4 per game. So not a great offense. This defense has looked good at times. So this is the time, Jonathan Gannon, where you find out if you start getting your ass kicked by Jared Goff and let him pick you apart like you did Derek Carr, we are going to have some issues because that's not good at all. Now, this offense, the same token, has to get rolling here against the Detroit Lions defense. We are 15th in rushing, which is terrible because we have a great run game, but nope, didn't want to use it. Finally start using it. Boom. Miles Sanders is hurt. Now we got to get Kenny G rolling. Jordan Howard, Boston Scott. Let's go. Passing game also needs to get going. Let's do that by getting that run game going first. 20th in passing, 19th in total yardage, and 20th in points, 22.8 points per game. Those numbers need to go up against the Detroit Lions. I don't give a damn. Horrible, just horrible all around right now. Now, we're giving up 2 sacks allowed per game. That's not good. Tied for 12th. 0.6 interceptions thrown per game. That's 8. So not giving it up too much there. 0.4 fumbles lost. You see that we're 1 turnover per game. That's tied for 6. So not too bad at giving the ball up. But honestly, there's been a few bomb scares where we're seeing some fumbles, some close interceptions, some horrible throws. So it's those numbers are skewed. We know that we take all of this with a grain of salt. So regardless, this offense needs to be able to do something against the Detroit Lions. Now, you guys know how this goes. I will be going through each position. Want to hear your guys' thoughts. So let me know how you're feeling about each comparison of, all of these positions here. We're going to be going through, looking at who each team has, and then talk about who has the better advantage in this matchup on Sunday. So we're going to start it off with the quarterbacks just mentioned. Jared Goff. Look, this dude just got traded away. We all remember he was number 1, then Wentz number 2. They were supposed to do such great things. Look, they both, Wentz helped this team make it to the Super Bowl. Goff made it, lost. I'll be real, having Sean McVay as a coach, that was very beneficial to him. But I think he's been found out. Not so great. I think he has like 8 touchdowns, 6 interceptions this year. He's average. And look, the Lions are not a good team, but he's not a great quarterback. So he's out there doing his average stuff. And I'm going to be pissed if he comes out here looking like Tom Brady, just like Derek Carr did. Now, Derek Carr is a better quarterback, but I'll be pissed. I'll be 100% real with you. I will be so pissed off if we let Jared Goff get after us. So you got to put him on his ass. You got to get some pressure here, and I think we could get him rattled. Now, Jalen Hurts, man, this needs to be your game where you're going against one of those top picks and you show him why you are the better. Now, you see the depth there. Gardner Minshew and now Reed Sinnett rather than Joe Flacco. We know we traded him for the 6th round conditional pick that could be a 5th. So I think, Jalen Hurts is a big game for him, man. And, the Detroit Lions are not a great defense. And I think that, they've got the right mindset and they're trying to do some things and it could be a problem. But for the love of God, I think that Jalen Hurts has the advantage here. And I really think that we should be able to come out here and put up some damn points on the Detroit Lions. Honestly, I think we should be able to put up over 30. And if we don't, I'm going to probably be embarrassed. And this defense needs to help us out, but they might score some points too. They've got a few weapons here, and they're going to try to use them against us. We talked about the lack of tackling we've had; it's just been bad. So we'll see. My man David in the building. What's going on, dude? Hopefully, you're having yourself a great start to your weekend. We're going behind enemy lines again, but in the sense of comparing the rosters and doing the matchup advantages as we do every week. So right now, we just went to the quarterback. We will be moving on to the running back, but let me know your thoughts. How do you guys feel about this matchup? Who do you think is the better advantage? You know, tomorrow we will be doing the top 10 matchups, so stay tuned for that. But here we get to see every damn one of them. Now, DeAndre Swift, he is a problem. So is Jamal Williams, a 1-2 punch that is actually pretty fierce, and sucks that they are stuck in Detroit. If they had a better offensive line, be even more scary. But as I said, they pass the ball out of the backfield to these backs. And, you know, so it's not just the run game, but these guys, you got to watch them at all times. Our linebackers will have their hands full, safeties, everybody. So get after it, stop these guys. But that is a pretty damn nice 1-2 punch. And, you know, ourselves, we had a pretty nice 1-2 punch, but, yeah, Miles Sanders will be going on IR. So we've got Boston Scott as depth on the roster. But we talked about this a second ago. Jordan Howard will be elevated from the practice squad. So he doesn't need to be part of the actual roster. So not listed here, but he will be a part of this running back room. But to be honest with you, going with the advantage here, I just kind of feel that they have the advantage because running backs have been an issue for us. So, with us not having Miles Sanders, you know, having Kenny Gainwell, I think that we should be able to run the ball, and that's great, and that's, you know, fine and dandy. But our biggest issue has been running back right now, and I think DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams could be a very big problem. So going with advantage to the Detroit Lions, which pretty sad when you got to do that, but this is the predicament we are in. And look, I like Jordan Howard. I like Kenneth Gainwell a lot. I think Boston Scott's a nice piece. So I think we will get that run game established. It's just a matter of will we run that ball? So we got to even ask ourselves if we will run the ball. So the advantage is to the Lions running backs because they get the ball all the time. It's the complete opposite. They're making sure those guys get the ball in their hands. So Detroit with the advantage. Now, on to wide receiver. They're dealing with some injuries there on the IR, Quintez Cephas and Tyrell Williams. So, top guys out. You've got Amon-Ra St. Brown now, Khalif Raymond, Kadero Hodge, Geronimo Allison there. So, some journeymen there with the young guy. And I'll be real with you. I think that we should be able to shut these guys down, but you never effing know. Now, the secondary has actually been something that, you know, has had issues at times. I think Darius Slay has been locked down. Love it. But you got to be able to shut these guys down. I do not care. The slot at times has gotten away. So maybe Amon-Ra St. Brown is somebody you need to watch out for here. But I think that, you know, a decent bunch of young guys, but nothing to concern you about too much. But once again, they're in the NFL. So you never know on any given Sunday. Now, our wide receivers, these guys need to step it up. Every single one of them. I think they're very talented and they can do a lot with the ball in their hands. We just got to be able to get the ball in their hands. They need to get themselves open and ensure they get that ball in their hands. So you saw a great play by Reagor at the end. He's shown what he can do. Devontae Smith seems like he's, you know, needs to be on a milk carton, but we've seen what he can do. We know he's super talented. So let's get these guys the ball in their hands and let's get going. I think, you know, we know that these receivers, Quez Watkins, even, I think he is a very phenomenal playmaker. So let's see some long balls. Let's, you know, get them in the open field. These guys can kill the zone. We're good route runners. So I just think that, and obviously Devontae Smith's an amazing route runner and he's open all the time. It's a lot on Jalen Hurts, but these receivers, time to get the ball into their hands. I think it's going to be hopefully a great day for our offense. So I'm going with the advantage to the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right. I think we can attack these young corners of theirs, and I think we'll get after it, man. I really think that the Eagles have a chance to put up a lot of points in this game. So let's move it on to the tight ends. And we know recently traded tight end Zach Ertz played last night with the Cardinals. Weird seeing him in red, but we all knew that that move would come. At least we got a 5th round pick and a corner that has some hope. So we got something rather than him just walking away next year. That's great. So he gets to go to a contender, even though they lost, looking like they have some holes for sure, but every team does. And I think, you know, Zach Ertz is going to definitely help them. Now, Dallas Goedert needs to help himself in this offense. So we've got ourselves a true tight end one. We're pumped. We want to see. We know that we've got some other guys I'm very excited about in the tight end room. So pumped there. But the team we're playing, they've got themselves a true tight end one. TJ Hawkinson, dude, is the real deal. He and then Darren Fells is in there, but that's just TJ Hawkinson. You got to worry about him. And we talked about Darren Waller was out last week, how great that was going to be for us. Hey-oh. Yeah, Foster Moreau beat our ass. So Foster Moreau can do that. Watch the hell out for TJ Hawkinson. But they're dealing with a couple guys on the NFI list in Hunter Bryant, Charlie Tuamapia there. So sure. Then you have the Philadelphia Eagles, as mentioned, tight end one, Dallas Goedert. You know, I'm ecstatic about Jack Stoll, baby. Very pumped having that H back there. But Tyree Jackson, you guys know I was keeping you in the loop, keeping you prepared in case you wanted to do anything on your fantasy. I don't think he's going to matter unless something would happen to Goddard. But being an IR spot, you can just leave him there and it doesn't hurt you. I did that myself with we play with monster lineups. So I think that Tyree Jackson, when he comes back, oh yeah, Dallas Goedert, Jack Stoll, that is a nice trio of tight ends right there. And I am looking forward to seeing that when it comes about. But what we're talking about here is not who the better tight end is or better whatever. It's the advantage here. So I think for me, looking at this matchup, we get our asses kicked by running backs and tight ends. So if they're going to do anything to us, it's going to be TJ Hawkinson. And at the same time, I think Dallas Goedert could really, really beat some ass here in the middle, but we don't attack the middle too much. So I can't sit here and say what if. I'm talking about, what it is. And what it is we have a problem with the running back and we have a problem with the tight end. So the advantage to both those positions are going to the Detroit Lions right now, because that is where they're going to attack us. That is where we, for some reason, have had sort of an issue getting the ball, handing the ball off or getting it across the middle of the field. Goddard does get it outside the hash sometimes, but look, let's be real here. We need to attack the middle. I need to see more of that, but the promise of that, it means nothing. I'm going off what it is. So right now, tied up on offense, and that's not a great thing for the Eagles when you're playing the Lions, but this is what comes about when you are a struggling team. So we knew there'd be struggles, but holy hell, we're here questioning if we will beat the Detroit Lions. God help us all. Now, offensive line. Penei Sewell, a great pick for them. Dude's a beast. We all know they have Halapoulivaati Vaitai. Love that dude. But, hey, a decent couple of players on that line, but still not one of the better lines. They're not as bad as most people think. They're not one of the worst lines, but I'd probably put them, probably in the low 20s when it comes to like rankings. That's probably where I'd have them. They're not the greatest. So this defense should be able to attack them. We should be able to hopefully try to shut down those running backs. We'll see, but I think that this defensive line needs to have one of those days, not just the line, the edge rushers, all that stuff, whatever you want to consider it in a hybrid defense. Now, our offensive line got Lane Johnson back, but let's be real. What the hell happened last week? I don't know. We got our asses kicked. Max Crosby, Yannick Ngakoue had his way with Mailata. And we talked about if there would be an issue with Mailata moving back to left tackle after playing right tackle. I don't know how much that matters too much, but he got his ass kicked, man. And I know he's still young. He's got time to, definitely grow. So I'm still excited. Love that kid. But we had our issues, man. And obviously Brooks and Sayamalo being on IR, that helps no one. But Dickerson, Driscoll, young guys, still learning. Let's hope that, being surrounded on each side, you got Kelsey in the middle there and then Johnson and Mailata on the ends, that can really help these guys start to form some kind of unity here, because obviously we have not had that. And this would be the third time that we have back-to-back weeks with different starting lines, but it'll be different starting lines than any of the other ones, right? So I'd have to look that up, what the numbers are, but I think let's look at it. You have 6. So yeah, I mean, that's not too bad. It's just 3 different sets of lines in 6 games. So 3 and then 2 other ones. So you've had like 4 or 5 different starting lines already. That's not good. That's not good at all. Not good for Jalen Hurts, not good for Sirianni, anybody, man. You need to have that camaraderie on the line. You need to have those guys really working together, man. And they have that. They have that love for each other. And I love that. And the top guys are out, but they still have that with the younger guys too. So build that unity together and let's be a force again, because that used to be one of our strengths. But I think it still is. And I think that Lane and Mailata and Kelsey working together, I think they could really help these other guys. And I think that their defensive line isn't as fearsome as ours. I'm going ahead and giving the advantage to the Philadelphia Eagles. So on offense, going with the Birds having the advantage in this game. And it's not necessarily as far off as most people would think, and that kind of sucks. But they're decent, and they put up a fight against the Rams there at the end. But I really feel that we should be able to get this W. So we'll see. But obviously, a lot going to depend on this defense. So let's get into this defense. Can we attack their defense? Can we put up some damn points? So look at their rankings. They're 21st against the run, 22nd against the pass, 25th in total yards given up, and 25th in points given up. So not great at all. And then you're looking at they get 2 sacks per game, which is tied for 22nd, 0.6 interception. You see that they are near the end in the 20s here looking. So I think that they are not a great defense, and I think we all know that, and we should be able to attack Aaron Glenn, his 3-4. Let's get after it. Now we're going to move on to the Eagles, take a look at how their defense has been doing, and we've talked about it, up and down. Don't know if Jonathan Gannon knows what he's doing, if he's got the right players to do the things he's trying to do. We'll see what he does against the Detroit Lions, but I mean, there's definitely things you could do to Jared Goff. We'll see. But 29th against the run. We've talked about that. Horrible against backs. That needs to change. But 11th against the pass. We are getting ran all over, though, so take all these numbers with a grain of salt. 360.7 yards per game given up. That's 17th. And then 24th in points. That's not good. Giving up 26.4 points per game. Don't like that. Don't like that. Only getting 1.6 sacks per game. What the hell? That's 30th. That's not good. 0.9 interceptions per game. Got a few of them in one game. That helped us, but that's about it. But only 1 turnover per game, man. Tied for 19th. I don't like that, man. I want to see this defense start to do something. And what better way than start with the Detroit Lions? So let's go, baby. Let's take a look at their defense and see what they've got in the trenches. First and foremost, you know, they're like us with the 3-4. Got a lot of hybrid stuff going on there. But Michael Brockers, Nick Williams, Alan McNeil as their defensive linemen. Then they've got a bunch of younger guys as depth, dealing with a lot of guys on IR with Joel Heath, Kevin Strong, and Deshaun Hand. So some big losses for him there. Then the edge rushers, consider that the line as well. Stand-up guys, though. Trey Flowers, Charles Harris. That was not funny. That was a very fake laugh. Julian Okwara, obviously filling in for his brother, Romeo, who is on the IR, so that's unfortunate. But got Lemonier and Austin Bryant there, some younger guys that can come in and fill in. Lemonier, a little more of a veteran, though. So we will see what these guys can do, but Trey Flowers was questionable, and I'm going to be real with you. Not that concerned about him, but you never know. But this offensive line, hopefully 2 weeks together, hopefully they can shut these guys down. Now, we talked about our defensive line. It's time to feast. Fletcher Cox is pissed off. Go show it on the field. Javon Hargrave, he's been tearing people up. Keep that up. Milton Williams, time for you to step it up. Let's go. Hassan Ridgeway, get back to your form in the beginning of the season. And Tuipulotu has not been used. So we'll see one day maybe if he gets used. And then the edge rushers. Let's go. Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett getting the predominant amount of snaps, but Jannard Avery also in that 3-4, getting outside linebacker snaps, getting that Sam linebacker role. And then Patrick Johnson, as his depth, hasn't really been getting any snaps, nor Teron Jackson too much. Kerrigan got a few last week, but those are the guys you're seeing most of the time. Pass rushing, but dropping back in coverage too. You know, with these hybrid schemes all over the place. But I really feel that we should be able to get some damn pressure on this offensive line, going with advantage, Philadelphia Eagles. So let's go, Birds. Dude, it's unacceptable if you do not get a few sacks in this damn game. Get after Jared Goff. Let's go. Now, on to the actual linebackers, the inside linebackers. They've got Alex Anzalone and Jalen Reeves-Maybin. These guys are not two guys that I'm concerned about. This is why we talk about attacking the middle with Dallas Goedert. Then you can have the advantage. You need to use it, though. You need to actually do it. Jalen Hurts, don't be afraid. Let's go. Not worried about these guys at all. Now you're talking about our linebackers, Alex Singleton, now Davian Taylor finally taking over that role, healthy enough. Love to see it. We finally got a guy that can cover a little, but not finding anybody that can really tackle. And Singleton, Edwards, Wilson, guys that can usually tackle, not tackling. Sean Bradley not really playing, but predominant snaps going to Alex Singleton and Davian Taylor. So Taylor, keep stepping it up, but let's start getting some tackles here, guys. And look, we all know that we need to address this in the draft next year, but right now we need to know if Davian Taylor is one of those answers there. And then Alex Singleton can stick around, be a great special teams player, great depth. I would love that. But we need help at that position. Eric Wilson's seeing the fewest of guys playing of that snap count. So that's concerning. You know that's what kind of player he was. And we talked about that, though, before the season started, that he was depth. He was a guy that played special teams. He got a starting job with the Vikings because of an injury. So if that's the only guy you were going to add, we're going to have issues. And Davian Taylor was hurt, only played 9 snaps week 2, 9 snaps week 4. Now he's gradually gotten back into it. So let's hope that he really pans out. Really, really hopeful for, that kid to be something in this defense. But looking at the inside linebackers for one of the, might be the first time I've said this year, but I'm going advantage Eagles here. I really am. I think Davian Taylor is a big upgrade, but we're going to find out because this is the kind of game we need him to watch. DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, they need to be able to shut these guys down. So we're going to see if they can. But I think that we can still attack in our advantage. I think Kenny Gainwell is the kind of back that, he's going to have a pretty big issue with Alex Anzalone and Jalen Reeves-Maybin. So we'll see how they handle them. But I think for once, we actually have the advantage here. We should be able to stop these running backs, make them one-dimensional, but we shall see how that goes. My man Fuji in the building. What's going on, my dude? Check my DM. Oh, I will have to do that. You guys know I don't really use Facebook too much. If you want to try to reach me, definitely try to use Twitter. That is probably your better bet, but I'll definitely check that out, my man. But happy Friday to you. Go Birds! You know it. We're just breaking down this roster comparison and matchup advantage here. On to the secondary, then special teams, and we are all finished. So any questions, any comments that you guys have, please get them in now. If you're watching this later, you can always comment. Let me know how you're feeling about this so far. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Love to hear it. Let me know. Now let's get into the secondaries of these teams. First, we'll start with the Detroit Lions. We talked about A.J. Parker being questionable. So as much as these guys are already, Daryl Worley starting, let's go, dude. I don't even know if he'll be awake for this game. So let's get after it. Jerry Jacobs was questionable as well. We already know. We talked about this the other day. Jeff Okudah, Afitu Melifonwu, you guys remember his brother Obi was here in the offseason, and then Corey Ballantyne, all on the IR. Huge losses for them. Oruwariye, you should be able to attack him, and Worley, and if AJ Parker's in, not worried about that either. But whoever it is, this Eagles, dude, this team should be able to score some points, and I'll just keep reiterating that because if we don't, I'm going to lose my mind because this is not a great, and not to talk trash on guys that are in the NFL. I'm just saying that they're not top tier talent, and we should be able to score some damn points on them. Now, looking at their safeties, Will Harris, Tracy Walker, actually underrated in this league, to be honest with you, especially Tracy Walker. So they do actually have some decent safeties. I just think that, it's not a secondary that I'm too concerned about, right? So I think that, that Tracy Walker is probably their best defensive player, but I'm not really stressing the secondary too much. My man Drew, what's going on, dude? Linebackers are slow to fill, attack downhill. Yes, they are. And ours have been too. I don't know if you're talking about theirs, but that's definitely true for them. But ours have had issues. We've talked about this throughout the weeks. I don't know what it is. And these are some of the things that these guys could at least do in the past and haven't done at all. I don't know if it's the changing of scheme, what's being asked of them, what's happening, but they need to figure it out real quick, Drew. But I agree with you 100%. But, our linebackers need to figure it out this week because we will get our asses kicked by DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, TJ Hawkinson, their best weapons, as you've seen as this advantage has gone through. You see that that's where they have the advantage, and that's where they're pretty good. So looking at our secondary, that Darius Slay, Steve Nelson, I think that Slay's been awesome. Steve Nelson's been up and down, but Avonte Maddox has been vastly improved, and that's because they finally put him inside, does not belong outside. But this zone has helped them out a little bit with that. We know that Zach McPherson is out. Maybe Tate Gowan sees a few snaps, not sure, but Mac McCain has been inactive almost every week. But Josiah Scott, maybe he'll see an uptick trying to get healthy. But we've got some younger guys I'm intrigued to see for the future. But these old heads right now holding it down. I like that. hopefully maybe get some turnovers this week. I'd love to see it, build their confidence up. But we've got two pretty good corners here, and I like that they're around to try to help these younger guys for the future. And then looking at the safeties, we talk about the fact that Kayvon Wallace is still on IR. But the same goes for when we talked about Tyree Jackson. Maybe he gets taken off of the IR for this game. So maybe we'll see him. But Kayvon Wallace for now on IR, but he is designated to return. So he had 21 days. It's like 14 now. Well, probably like 15, but regardless, he's got 2 weeks to come back. We'll see when that is. Doubtful is Anthony Harris, as we talked about earlier. So once again, it could be Epps and McLeod. We'll see how that goes. Got Sasha Ray there. He's been great on special teams. We'll see if we need him as help in the secondary. You know, Elijah Riley was brought up last week as one of those practice squad elevations. And maybe we bring up the new kid, Jared Mabin from Alabama. So check out that highlight video, put it up on YouTube if you guys want to see a little bit about him. But yeah, I think, you know, we're going to have to figure it out without Harris, and that's rough. But I think, honestly, when it comes down to it, with the secondary, with the receivers we're going against compared to who they're going against, I'm going advantage to the Philadelphia Eagles. So it felt nice for a week to have this. But even now, you shouldn't have running back and tight end, you know, with the Lions. That's either way. This team needs to try to figure out a way to stop those guys, and we'll see if they can. Now, on to the special teams. Obviously, this a lot of times comes down to the tiebreaker, but there is no tiebreaker. But we're still looking at top to bottom, these teams from coaches to everything. Let's take a gander here. So special teams, Austin Seibert, Jack Fox, Scott Daly, your average guys, nothing to be too concerned about, not the greatest kicker in the world. And then the return specialists, you've got Godwin, and you guys remember I can never remember how to say it, Iguapuguki, sure. But he was with the Eagles in 2019 practice squad. But yeah, he wasn't even here long enough for me to remember how to say his name. Now, Khalif Raymond, we'll see how much they use him, as he is needed to be their receiver. So we'll see, but not too concerned. We've done pretty well in the special teams, so not too worried about it. Jake Elliott, I think, is a pretty good kicker. Aaron Sipos really surprised me. He's looked great. Rick Lovato, one of the better long snappers in the league. So I like our unit. And obviously the special teams unit as a whole, I really have liked what we've done so far. Let's see if maybe we get another block this week. That'd be awesome. Then when it comes to the return specialists, we've got some guys that can make some moves. We'll see who we use exactly. Maybe Greg Ward, Boston Scott will get sprinkled in, but I don't need to see that. I need to see Kenny Gainwell, Jalen Reagor, maybe you throw in Quez. I don't care. Devontae Smith, even get somebody back there. Let's see a big return. We've been wanting to see it all year, so let's see what they've got. Now, looking at the advantage there, I'll be real with you. Philadelphia Eagles won last time. So a lot of advantage there for the Eagles. So I feel that the Eagles do have the advantage in this game. I think that we should be able to pull off this W, but you never know, because this team is struggling. And, you know, this isn't like these guys can just, oh, okay, I see my problems. It's over. This is that. And it's over. Now, it might take some time. So this is a big game for us, guys. This is going to answer a lot of questions. Is Sirianni even dependable? If you lose to these guys and you can't get your offense going, that's horrible. No excuse. I don't care about Miles Sanders. I don't care about any of the injuries. I do not care. So there it was, ladies and gentlemen, your roster comparison and matchup advantages. Hope you enjoyed it. But that's all I've got for you on this beautiful Friday night. Appreciate you checking me out on all these platforms. Appreciate you hitting that like button, subscribing to the YouTube channel. We're almost at 400, slowly but surely building that bad boy up. But we're just going to keep putting out that content, and you guys keep eating it up. I appreciate you more than you guys can imagine. I hope you're having a good weekend. If you need anything, please feel free to reach out to me. Whether it's talk some birds, you want to talk about life, does not matter. If you guys have trouble finding streams for the game, you don't have cable, or you're going to be somewhere, it doesn't matter. Let me know. Love to help you out, but make sure you do it before Sunday, because I'm a very busy man on those days. But I appreciate you taking the time. If you're watching this later, you know you can always comment. Let me know your thoughts on the video. Did you agree with it? Did you disagree? Always down to talk some birds. But I'm going to get rolling out. Have yourselves a safe and enjoyable weekend. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll be doing the top 10 matchups to watch out for in this Eagles versus Lions Week 8 matchup. But thank you for taking the time. Have yourselves a fantastic night. And as always, go birds!